This is the 2022 Audi RS e-tron GT, and it's essentially a Porsche Taycan, only better. Mainly because it looks fantastic, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. It's also a lot faster than the regular e-tron GT that we drove a few months ago, and today I'm going to review this and we'll decide if it's worth the extra money. So this really is a very cool looking car, and particularly this RS, probably one of my favorite cars, definitely now one of my favorite Audis. I said the same thing about the regular GT e-tron, but now this one is my favorite, as you will find out later in this video. Now this one has the year one package for a cool $20,350. What does that include? You get these carbon fiber inlays here, and these sills are also in carbon fiber. You also get this fine Napa leather throughout, pneumatic side and leg bolsters for those seats, as well as a massage function. And then here you get red seat belts. You also get red stitching on these mats, a leather covered dash, and Alcantara steering wheel, and the headliner is also Alcantara. Carbon fiber also continues on the roof. The whole roof is in fact carbon fiber. These door mirror housings, obviously on both sides, are also carbon fiber. You also get these laser lights, which are pretty damn bright. Now there is a little warning sticker in there that says, "Do not stare into the beam," because it's a laser. So basically, I guess an idiot would do that. Now, because it's the year one package, you get, it's all blacked out. The rings at the front and the back are blacked out. These are the camera systems under here. Obviously no radiator, so no reason to have any air flowing through there at all. So the base price is $139,900, give or take. It's basically $140,000 now. With that year one package, adds that $20,350, you get to around $162,000. Still cheaper than the equivalent Taycan though, and then again, in my opinion, way better looking. And so before I forget, you also get these ceramic brakes, which are absolutely huge. These rotors are absolutely huge. These are 6-piston calipers. I don't think I've seen a caliper that big in any car that I've ever driven. And yeah, absolutely massive. And then you get these 21-inch specific year one wheels. Now, on the front, these tires are offset. So these are Goodyear asymmetric tires. They are 265/35s on the front. And then at the back, these Goodyear Eagles are 305/30s. I think they're the same size that we had on the Cadillac Blackwing that we drove a few months ago, but absolutely massive. There's almost like a foot width of rubber on the road, but it needs it. So what makes this thing go? Well, it is considerably more powerful than its sibling, the regular GT e-tron. 2 motors, 1 on each axle, 637 horsepower, 612 foot-pounds of torque. Now that is only under certain conditions, so when you activate launch control, which is essentially put it in dynamic, both feet on the pedals, and then mash the go pedal, you get that for about 2.5 seconds. But in normal use, you get about 590 horsepower. From a standstill to 60 miles an hour takes around 2.9 seconds. So the battery pack is a liquid-cooled lithium-ion charger. It's got about 85 kilowatts of usable space. Range is good, according to the EPA, for around 232, but on a trickle charge overnight on my charger, I've seen 245, almost 250, and it really regens quite well as well. And also, it has an 11 kilowatt onboard charger, which means you can use one of the really fast chargers. It takes about 17 minutes to go from 0 to 80%, so it's actually pretty quick. Here in the back, you get about 9.2 cubic feet of space together with a charger cable, and then you can push the seats or flatten the seats in the back to create more room. And then here on this side, you get like a little pocket to put stuff in, and you got exactly the same thing on the other side. And then under here is a storage space for, in this case, the net for groceries, and obviously some flat items if you need to store them. So if I was spending $162,000 on this car, I wouldn't be letting other people drive it and me sit in the back. But if I had to be in the back for whatever reason, then it isn't a bad place to be. This back of the seat's a little bit upright, and you don't get an awful lot of headroom, and I'm pretty small, so if I'm saying that, it's pretty cramped. But yeah, you could survive on a short trip. You've got your own AC. There's no power in the back here. They didn't accommodate for that, but there are some controls for HVAC. And then if you pull on this, you can get a couple of cup holders for your martinis right here. So here in the RS e-tron GT, beautiful place to be, just like the other one, just like most Audis. When you spend some money, $162,000 gets you a absolutely beautiful interior, beautifully made. As I said, leather swathes everywhere. You got this carbon fiber all the way along the dash, again part of the year one package. And again, red seat belts to make it go faster. Super comfortable seats too. Nice set of cup holders as well. It really is a very nice place to be. So the tech in here is pretty good. This particular infotainment system is pretty fast. Pretty intuitive, it's pretty easy to use. The maps load, you get Google Earth included. Down here you've got all your physical controls for everything that you need. I like the fact that you can go eco on AC to save some battery. You've got heated and cooled seats as well. And then down here you've got your drive select, traction control off, and then some parking cameras and sensors, etc. if you have a difficulty in parking the vehicle. This select is not my favorite. You have to push back and forth through this. I'd prefer a little lever. And then my phone, which is pretty small, doesn't quite fit in there, which is kind of annoying. And then there is a charger at the back here, but it's tough to work with my case on. So drive mode select here, you press that. So those settings are efficiency, comfort, which is default, dynamic and individual. Hit the pencil here, and you can change the drive to efficiency, balance, or sport, suspension, comfortable, or sport. I have it on max attack. All right, let's take it for a drive and see how we do. So, selecting drive. It's interesting how much noise this thing makes from the outside. It makes that whirring noise like a Tesla going backwards, but it makes a sort of interesting growl when it is going forwards. So we'll get onto this little section here and engage individual mode. All right, so looking out for traffic here, and off we go. Jeez. Now I did feel that the regular e-tron GT with its summer tires, and it had rear wheel steering like this one, but it didn't quite feel as planted as it could. This one, on the other hand, with its bigger tires and their summer tires, grips into oblivion. Now, with the suspension settings on their most aggressive, this thing is ridiculously quick. I've got 164 miles on the battery right now, so I've got a little bit of playtime to come, and then we'll do a launch a little bit later on. So the steering does weight up a little bit versus in comfort mode. What I did notice is that the accelerator pedal is quite stiff. It's got quite a stiff spring on it, and I think that's wise given the 637 horsepower, 612 foot-pounds of torque from 0 RPM. What you don't want to do is accidentally drive through a shop window. So a little bit gets you some, and it's very linear in its action. So I kind of like that. You just got to get used to the fact that it's quite heavy. In its most aggressive mode, it isn't teeth-chatteringly jarring. In fact, it rides better than that Toyota Sequoia I had last week. All right, let's get onto a little bit of road here where we can see how it does. All right. Oh, Jesus! I mean, you can feel the traction control systems fighting the power, but by God, this thing is quick. Absolutely razor sharp in the turns too. Little adjustment on the steering there, and then we've been driving for maybe 2 minutes now, and the brakes are phenomenal. Carbon ceramics, what would you expect? God, any speed. Now the advantage of this car is it has a 2-speed transmission. So what that means is normally if you're just driving along, going to the shops, dilly-dallying, it's in second gear. It doesn't really need first gear. But you stomp on it and you feel sort of like it's not really a banging sound, but a little kind of boom as it drops into first, and then your head flies back and your internal organs start traveling towards the back of the seat. So make sure if you're going to do that to not have had too much lunch. So anyway, in the twisties, it is a lot more planted than the other one. You can get up to fairly obscene speeds without even trying. Of course, we've got completely dry weather today, which is nice. A lot of rain recently, but yeah. You've got to watch out because it gains speed so fast that you don't realize how fast you're going when you get into the next turn, and you're like, holy shit, it's time to slow down. But on these twisties, given that it is a fairly large sedan, I'm very impressed with how it is going. And then floor it. Oh, Jesus. So fast. I mean, a Tesla Plaid is going to beat it, but this thing, the way it's built, it's basically Porsche technology. Porsche and Audi say that with this system, battery, etc., you can launch all day until the battery dies, and you won't have any problems with overheating or battery issues. The Tesla, on the other hand, allows you a handful of launches, and then you got to stop for 20-30 minutes, get a sandwich, get a coffee before you can enjoy yourself again. This, you don't worry about that. You can stomp on it at any time you like. I absolutely love this car. And I kind of loved the other one, but then I was kind of like, it felt weird. I didn't feel like it had the handling characteristics that this one has. This one is it. It really is. I'm feeling like this is the best electric car that I've driven. I've driven a few. Obviously, there are a couple that I haven't driven that are probably even more spectacular. But this one, so far, I like it better than the Tesla. Very impressive. Now, we're coming off, sort of coming off the mountains here, so as we go downhill, we're collecting electrons, which is nice. Free electrons are always good. Some uneven pavement will cause it a couple of problems, but to all intents and purposes, it's actually pretty decent. I mean, decent considering that the average California road is more dimpled than a teenager's face. And so, you know, they just don't fix the roads out here. So back to these seats. Oh, the bolstering, the fact that you can move it in and out. I'm just super snug here. Very, very nice. Comfortable, not too hard. Normally German seats are rock hard. These are nice. I could go on a long journey. Well, I could do a long journey for 250 miles or so before I needed to charge it up. But I could try and go on a long journey. I could be perfectly happy doing 200 miles in this car. Wow. We just passed that car and ridiculously easy. I don't think there's many situations where you can't pass someone. This car's absolutely nuts. And then out of the corner, oh my god, the torque. I had a Tesla dual motor, and I thought that was quick. This is on another level. We're going to turn around here. Now, I've turned off the AC. I don't know if having the AC on has any effect on the power of an electric car. Maybe someone can help me out with that. I know it has an effect on the battery and range because the AC will use up more battery than when it's off. Okay, so we're sort of, I think we're good here. I got it in D, I got it in individual mode. Any second now, and let's see what happens. So off we go. 60. a little bit of spinach on the wheels there. 3.2 seconds, not far. I reckon if I practice that a little bit more, I will be able to get the 3.1 and possibly faster. Now, I did get the regular e-tron GT faster than the manufacturer's time, or I think I equaled it. So I think we're good. But all in all, honestly, if I had $162,000 just waving in the breeze, I would buy one of these in a heartbeat. I love it. So what do we think? Well, the Audi RS e-tron GT is probably one of the best electric cars that I've ever driven. Now, notice that I don't say cars in general because I'm not quite sold 100% on electric. There are some gas cars that have a lot more soul than these cars, but it is super sophisticated. It is super elegant. I did think that the regular GT e-tron was the best Audi, but this one is now the best Audi that I think they make today. Once again, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video. Out.